Hi students, today I'm going to talk about managing your debts with you. If you'd like to follow along, you can listen to this video, or otherwise you can just look through the slides and go ahead and watch videos that occur within the slides. First, let's talk about signs of debt problems. So how do you know when you're getting into financial trouble? Basically, warning signs are easy to think about. Making only monthly payments on your credit card instead of paying the full thing off. If you struggle to make monthly payments, if you miss a loan payment, if you have to use your savings account to buy food, water, clothing, shelter, or if you borrow money to pay off old debt. So that's where I told you, okay, you get a credit card, you use another credit card to pay off that credit card. These are many of the warning signs. If you experience more than two, I would say it's time for you to rethink your priorities. Again, we've talked about these things where you have to have self-discipline. If you lack self-discipline, you're going to get into debt problems. Making poor judgment. So you're in line at Walmart or Target and they are trying to persuade you to buy things that are at those locations. Or if you fail to accept, certain responsibilities that you've already paid for certain things using a credit card, or you've already have a loan for a house and it's too expensive, what do? These are signs that you're going to have debt problems. So we've kind of talked about debt collection. When people are in debt and getting behind in payments, they may worry about debt collection agencies. Creditors will often turn their bad debts over to other companies, but the federal government is going to protect your legal rights in dealing with some of these agencies. So there is financial counseling services that will help you when you get into debt, if you're struggling. This is a really good website that I'd like you to check out today. When you have time, you can look over the bullets that it has here, but if you scroll through the top, that's the cool stuff that I think you guys may be interested in. Improving your credit score, budgeting and planning tools. These are really neat links that I found and thought, you know what, this might be something that you guys are looking forward to. You might want to look into with your own time. So please go ahead and take a look, click through these, see if there's any information. Again, they're bulleted, they're numbered list. This is a really cool one where I knew it was in here somewhere. It's the improve your credit score. So you can put in your budget and you can, are you spending too much? And it will tell you the categories, which we've done these sorts of things before, but again, under building credit, improve, or the budgeting and planning tool is kind of cool there. Just a little bit about this counseling service. It's a nonprofit organization. So local branches are provided in different areas. There's some located in Indianapolis. It's not a charity. It's a lending institution. Counseling is usually free, but there are some administrative costs to it. If you get overwhelmed, you have a place to go. Here's a quick video that I'm going to go ahead and play for you, so then you can just keep going right along with me.
For individuals who have become overwhelmed by large amounts of debt, filing for bankruptcy is a potential solution. Filing for bankruptcy can allow someone with high debt to resolve the financial problems they face and possibly even start over with a clean slate. Before getting started, it should be noted that although bankruptcy may help you get rid of some or all of your debt, it will also stay on your credit report for up to 10 years. This means that you may not get a loan when you want one. Bankruptcy is a serious step, and how much it can help you depends on your situation. If you are thinking about bankruptcy, you should talk to a lawyer as early as possible. Bankruptcy may make it possible for you to get rid of the legal duty to pay some kinds of debt, including medical debt, utility bills, credit card debt, and other qualifying debt. Declaring bankruptcy can also temporarily stop certain actions by creditors, including foreclosure on your home, and if under Chapter 13, giving you a chance to catch up on missed payments, repossession of a car or other property, or force the creditor to return property even after it has been repossessed, wage garnishment, debt collection harassment, and similar creditor actions, or getting your utility service back or keeping it from being cut off. However, bankruptcy cannot fix every financial problem. Declaring bankruptcy will not stop you from going into debt in the future if your income is less than your expenses. Bankruptcy will also not get rid of debts that are singled out by the bankruptcy law for special treatment, such as child support, alimony, and most student loans. The automatic stay. As soon as the bankruptcy is filed, the automatic stay goes into effect. The automatic stay is an order of the bankruptcy court in place in most cases, prohibiting most creditors from taking collections actions against the debtor or the debtor's property while the bankruptcy is pending. This gives the debtor some breathing space when the case is filed. Types of bankruptcy. The two most common types of bankruptcies for individuals who have fallen on hard financial times are Chapter 7 and 13 bankruptcies. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is also known as a straight bankruptcy or a liquidation case because the debtor agrees to sell or give up all of their non-exempt property. The bankruptcy court trustee will supervise the sale of the property, and he will give the money from the sale to the creditors. If property is non-exempt but still of limited value considering the costs of holding the sale, the trustee may decide not to take the property, but that will be a decision of the trustee and not of the debtor. Once the sale is complete, the court enters an order discharging all of the debtor's dischargeable debts that are not covered by the money from the sale of assets. Many Chapter 7 cases are no asset cases, in which the debtor has no non-exempt assets, and the debts are discharged without partial payment. Chapter 13s, on the other hand, are often called reorganizations because it allows the debtor a chance to get organized, to pay off certain debts over time. In turn, this allows the debtor to keep valuable property, like a house or a car. When the debtor files for Chapter 13 bankruptcy, he makes a bankruptcy plan for how he will pay his debts. Generally, the plan will call for a payment to the trustee each month. In turn, the trustee will use these payments to pay the creditors, the debtor's attorney, and the trustee's fees, and the creditors in order of priority. This plan usually lasts from 3 to 5 years. The plan must be approved by the court. After completion of payments under the plan, Chapter 13 debtors receive a discharge of most debts. The decision whether to file bankruptcy and under what chapter is an extremely important decision. This decision should be made only with competent legal advice from an experienced bankruptcy attorney after a full review of all the relevant facts of the debtor's case. We hope you found this educational video on the basics of bankruptcy helpful.
I think that was pretty helpful. It's going to explain a lot of my next few slides. But again, declaring bankruptcy is kind of scary. It's kind of risky. Some people that get into medical issues, though, and see lots of bills are probably the number one reason why they would file. It's a legal process, severely damages your credit rating. You can visit debt.org to find out more information about bankruptcy. Here's some bankruptcy statistics that I was going to have you guys read the article about. It's not always reckless spending. I really want you guys to understand that and focus on that. It gives you demographic backgrounds of what typically happens, and I wanted to point out that 36% of high school education, no more than high school education, individuals will file for bankruptcy. That's about a third, 1 out of every 3. That's an alarming number to me, and I know these statistics are back in 2015 or 2005. What's it say? 2005. But still, that's an alarming number. Please look at this article and read through some of the statistics for me. There is a U.S. Bankruptcy Act, and this act basically illustrates that there are 2 different ways that you can file for bankruptcy, and you heard Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 in that video. Chapter 7 is an individual must draw up a petition listing all their assets and liabilities, files for relief, and submits a petition. Most of your debts will be forgiven, but they will take your assets. They'll take your stuff away. Chapter 13 bankruptcy is just a plan. You're going to put in a plan over a 5-year period or less where you're going to make regular payments, and you won't necessarily get your stuff taken away. You can keep your stuff. This law in 2005 made it more difficult for consumers to file for Chapter 7. They forced people to start making a repayment plan. This effects of bankruptcy you need to understand is, people with varying experiences in attaining credit after they file. Some people say it's easier, some people say it's not. I tried to find some videos of some examples, and I didn't think they related to young adults. Honestly, it was a lot of people saying, go for it, it's not that bad. And I don't want you to get that feeling that bankruptcy is a good thing. It may be easier for people who file for Chapter 7, just, get all the debts taken away, wait 10 years, your credit score goes back to, not so low, back to an average, and then start over again. Making sure that you understand that this stays on your credit report for 10 years. It just makes the fact of getting credit much, much more difficult. So it's it's a very extreme step to declare bankruptcy. So you would only want to do this when you would actually have no other options. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to the next video. Thanks.